TJ Technologies is proud to sponsor today's Farm Basics. Micronutrients are essential for healthy and productive growth in lawns, gardens, and crops. Check us out at tjmicromix.com because it's the little things that make a big difference.
During our Farm Basics time today, we wanted to talk about what is strip tillage.
Well, it's always one of those fun topics to talk with my non-farming friends about. They say, what are you talking about? Is this some kind of game that farmers play? Or I don't know what's going on out on the farm. But really, when we're talking about tilling up strips out in your field, well, we're talking about narrow little strips where you're going to plant crop next year. We aren't talking about making one pass 30 feet wide, tilling it, and then not tilling the next 30 feet over. But what we're talking about here is just a narrow band, like maybe an 8-inch wide band where you're going to plant your corn or your soybeans next year.
So if you're in normally 30-inch rows, what you would do is 7 or 8 inches right over the center of that row. That would be tilled or worked, and it would be relatively black. The rest of it would have all the residue that was out there from harvest. And the reason why farmers are interested in doing this is a couple of things. For one, it's a way that they can place their fertilizer down in the ground. But the bigger thing is when they have tilled that soil, it's able to warm up a little bit more quickly in the spring.
Well, the other side too, Brian, is just moisture conservation. You know, we're in a part of the country that doesn't normally get an overabundance of moisture. Now this year we had a pretty good year on our farm for getting rainfall, but if you're in an area that doesn't get a lot of moisture, doing less tillage out in your field is a good thing, because anytime you're tilling up that soil, it lets some moisture back
but
out.
Like for our farm, we had gone to complete no tillage, so we were doing nothing for tillage on some of our acres. So you've got that extreme, and when you do absolutely no tillage, that conserves the most moisture. When you're doing full tillage over the whole field, that's going to mean you'll have a little more erosion, you're going to have more moisture loss, but you're going to warm that soil up a little quicker. So you've got both of these things. What the strip tillage does is it supposedly takes the best of both worlds. So we can still conserve most of our soil, reduce erosion, but we can also warm up at least where that crop is going to grow a little earlier in the spring.
The other thing is dealing with all the crop residue. Let's take this cornfield that we're standing by today. If we get 200 plus bushel corn here and we've got all these 9-foot tall corn plants.
You mean when we get?
Well, okay, when we get good yields, and we'll have decent yields this year. You know, you look at those fields and you say, wow, I've got these 9 and 10-foot tall corn plants out there, and I've got 30 or 35,000 of them per acre. That's a lot of plant residue to deal with. If I'm not doing any kind of tillage in the field, what am I going to do with all that residue? How am I going to be able to plant my crop accurately, get that residue out of the way so the plants can emerge and they aren't smothered with all the residue? Those are some big issues, and for farmers that have gone complete no-till, some are able to do it very successfully. Others say, wow, if I could just till just a little area right around my crop, that would be the best, and that's why guys started doing some strip tillage.
Well, once again, strip till is a practice where farmers will till up 7 or 8-inch strips or bands through the field in order to warm the soil up a little better, get a little bit better stand when they plant in the spring, and also help conserve soil as opposed to doing full tillage over the whole field.
Well, one thing about it, when you start doing less tillage on any field, you end up with more weed issues and different weed issues that you face. One of those weeds could be our weed of the week. We'll show you how to get it under control later in the show.